This is Unboxing Women. Welcome to the stream. We're live on Facebook and also on Instagram. And my name is Dana Rexx. I'm a singer-songwriter from Belgium. And with me is Maika Rose, who is a singer-songwriter based in Germany.
I thought you'd forgotten my name for a second there.
No. I'm just like scrambling to find all my stuff back on the screen. So yes, technical difficulties. So we were talking about male movements and why there aren't any. So Maika, please continue.
Yeah. All right. So we kind of delved in a bit into meninism, which I find quite a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
But
I didn't know it existed.
Yeah, well, we started out this part because we did like record a couple of minutes beforehand. And so I was not aware that there were male movements. I knew there would have to be because I mean, you'd think there would be, but I'd never heard of them. And I think it's the general populace doesn't necessarily know about male movements.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So I think the only one you ever really hear about is some old men railing against feminists, which...
That's not a movement.
I mean...
Do they have a hashtag?
Oh, actually, yeah. I found the hashtag. Not necessarily relating to those old men, but there is the hashtag blame one, not all.
Okay.
Which I mean, yes. Fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes.
But no, apparently there's like there's a whole movement because of some inequalities that men get. Specifically, I saw concerning childcare and like custody.
Okay.
Because when you get divorced, the custody of the child usually goes to the mum, and the man has to pay alimony.
Yes, well, it doesn't have to. It's just because, you know, they didn't really do anything to get custody then in that case. Because it really doesn't have to be that way in a divorce. Absolutely not. Well, not in Europe anyway. Because I actually
think that's
know...
one of the biggest points, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of men who... who are divorced or separated, and it's 50-50, and that's because they did take steps to actually get it to 50-50. Obviously, the wife, the ex-wife always wants to kind of have the kids for herself as well, which is normal. You want your kids with you, but the fathers also want their kids with them. So it's 50-50. I think if you really want it, and if you're not lazy about it, then you can get that, and you can get that.
So that's kind of one of the main things I found, and I didn't read it, but there was something about female privilege, and I can imagine that being along the lines of we can get people to do stuff for us.
Is that our privilege?
I guess.
That's so weird. Is that female privilege?
Well,
What?
I didn't read into it very much, but it was very weird. And I was just there like, I don't understand this and I don't want to read this.
No,
Which,
exactly.
Again, I should have probably read it for the world, but for my sanity, I didn't read it.
I mean, female privilege as opposed to white male supremacy? I don't know.
The thing is, I don't think you can actually like weigh them up in the scales against each other, because that's kind of where all the hate comes from. But it's just kind of it's a whole thing. But no, so in general, I did not find very much about male movements, and I hadn't heard of that, I hadn't heard of any specific ones. Like we have the female movements with Me Too is mostly female. Then you've got feminism and stuff. There is something that Emma Watson started, which is he for she, but that's men for feminism. So
yes.
it's not about male rights and male rights movements, which do exist, but I think because there is such a disparity between men and women already in favor of the men, that feminism just gets more attention because it is the most disparate one of the two.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if that makes sense, but that's what I think.
I see what you mean. I'm actually gonna start a poll. If everybody wants to, everybody who's online right now, or if you're watching this back, you can let us know in the comments. Do you think there should be male movements too? I'm just gonna start this. I'm just gonna start this poll. You can answer when you want, and we'll look at the results later. And then also, for people who are watching this back and who are answering in the comments, we will have a look at those, and in a couple of episodes, we'll look at the results of that. I just, I was looking at male movements. I didn't really look any up because. That's just the whole point. I know of Me Too and Time's Up and all of those other movements that women are doing, or even that, gay rights activists are doing. And I have never heard of any male movements. And that's basically it. So if there are any, I just, they're not in the picture at all. They're not, boosted by any activists or supported by the media or the music and entertainment biz, which obviously gives a lot of exposure. And, I'm sure this Me Too thing has more male victims actually than we think. Yeah, I mean, there must have been like men, gay or straight, that have been forced into sexual acts by men in charge. I can't imagine this has never happened. I mean, these bosses who, might be acting like they're straight but are actually gay and get their fix by using their position on women as well as men. So, but which man victim is going to admit to something like that, That's the question. Would a man actually ever come out to say this? I mean, women have a hard time admitting it, but we want to protect each other, and the people that come after us. So we end up making the sacrifice so others won't have to go through it, and we create our support groups around that and each other, and we're like one. And
women love community.
Yes, and men don't really do that. But I mean, can you imagine a man telling us he was raped by some producer or a big label boss?
Not if I don't know him. The thing is, I do have friends who have been raped, male friends, and they have told me, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't know.
Yes.
But it takes a while, and it's not something people really like to dwell on, whether you're male or female. So you don't necessarily want to tell people. And I think for anybody, it's a huge step to kind of say, go out in public and actually say that, because it's such a personal kind of thing that probably has a lot of fear and a lot of I was about to say angst, but in English, in American English, that's like fear of death. But it has a lot of it has a lot of a lot of emotions attached to it, and I don't think that's any different from men. I just think that generally men are not allowed to show their emotions as much in our society, so this is even harder for them to kind of come out and say that, because it would be talking about something very emotional and emotionally scarring. And
it's as emotionally scarring for women. We just have the guts to actually say it in public, I guess, then. But why do we have, well, let's say balls, because that's basically it. Would they actually literally have them, and we figuratively have them? Why is it so hard? That's really the question. I have some.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have some answers coming in.
Yeah.
So, do you think there should be male movements too? 3 people said no already. So that's very interesting. And we have Alice saying that dismantling the patriarchal institutions and the way they divide and conquer people of all sexes and gender identities against each other would likely be enough to cause some major changes that might inadvertently lead to all of these communities having, sorry, had to click see more, lead to all of these communities having healthier methods of interacting with and understanding one another. Totally agree. Might be a way to bypass the need for separate gender-gated movements if handled well. That's interesting. So yeah, gender-gated movements. Obviously, men can join the Me Too and Time's Up movement, but I have the feeling that a lot of them that are actively supporting that and talking about that are more there to support the women that are in it and that are going through these things, rather than coming out with stories of sexual harassment themselves.
Right. I don't know. I think it's something that men have not really been allowed to do for a long time. And as I said, like talking about your emotions as a man, generally societally is still frowned upon, which we all know is bullshit, but there you go. So I think it's even harder for them to actually talk about it. But at the same time, I think the thing about saying what was it, gender-based movements or something, gender-gated movements? Yeah. That's actually quite interesting because in general, all that feminists want and all that the other movements, the LGBTQI plus movements want, they all want equality.
Yes.
Right?
Same. We want to be the same.
So technically they're all equality movements, but because it's I don't know where I'm going with this, but no, because it's just kind of there's such a disparity that we feel the need to say this is for this type of person, with these types of issues, and
but it could be for everybody.
More traction. It could be for everybody, but it gains more traction when you say this is for this type of person. Are you this type of person? So
I see.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting, and talking about, you know, the pressure on men of not talking about their feelings or not talking about these kinds of topics. I mean, the cause machism and self-perception that men have. You know, I have heard from men that the expectations are always high for them, and although they don't show it, they definitely do feel the pressure. And my question then is, why not show it? Why is there such shame in showing a little vulnerability, showing that you're human, and just, you know, that you just stop accepting what society is pounding into you, like for us women, that they're pounding onto us, you know, all this stuff about, you know, you have to be the mother and you have to be at home, or, you know, you can't do this job because your brain is too small, or I don't know, whatever. My message to the men, you know, is to be more like women, and basically so much more would get done. Would it not? Is it that shameful to just show a little bit of emotion, but that way you can get over it and move on, instead of like being all puffy and chest out, you know, nothing can faze me? Does that not damage you more?
I think it's a couple of things. I think obviously there's types of men, or at least in my generation, who already do talk about their feelings. Not like, oh, they're gushing about their feelings, but you know, if you ask them what's going on, they'll tell you, I'm not feeling that good right now. I'm going through kind of a stressful phase at work, or I'm kind of a bit depressed right now, or whatever. You know, they do tell me. But I think that I do also have people that I know, not as well, so maybe it's because I don't know them as well, but they will often kind of try to present themselves in a manner that makes them look really good. And I don't know if that's just a male thing or if it's predominantly a male thing, but a lot of people, it's kind of like on Instagram, you present the front that you want people to see,
Yeah.
and you don't want them to see the mess, right? So I think that's kind of similar to this kind of don't talk about it, you can't talk about it because you need to seem to be this person.
I see.
So it's more the need to have that facade to that things shouldn't be made public and stuff, and that this is how you want people to perceive you, that stops people from talking about it. So that's what I see in that.
Exactly.
Not
Yes.
always.
I think that's a good comparison to, the socials, to only show what you would, in a perfect world be. I have some more comments from Alice, who says toxic masculinity is a way in which men's potential emotional and psychological range is artificially limited and actively destroyed. Very interesting, and that's true. I totally agree. The system doesn't want human beings, they want tools. It wants tools. So, yes, I mean, if we're going for the, men can do anything and men are in charge and then they are not allowed to show that sometimes it's not the case, that they're not, that they don't know what they're doing.
We talked about this. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about how men apply for a job even if they only have 60% of the qualifications, and women wait until they actually have 100%, and even then they might not apply. So it's kind of along those lines, isn't it? It's the kind of, I can do anything and anybody will believe that I can do anything if I just say it and act like it.
Yeah.
And no, that's really interesting.
And I was also wondering, if somebody did come out and say, look, I was sexually harassed or assaulted by another male, and I'm, I don't want this to happen to other people, just like exactly the same as like a Me Too or Time's Up thing. Okay. Would there be fellow men who would like take him under their wing and say, you did well to get it out there, and we'll get through this together and we'll stand by you no matter what, like kind of like females do? Let's be honest here. I don't know if that would actually be the case, because then they're exposing weakness as well.
That's a hard one, because I don't think you could predict what would happen until it actually happens.
Yes.
And I think there's so many people in the world, so many people using social media and stuff right now, and this kind of story would go around the world, at least the kind of Western countries. So I think somewhere there would be someone who would take the first step and stand with that guy, and then that would go potentially could snowball. But I think the general willingness to form a community and to just stand up for other people or other people of your gender is just very much more prevalent with women. I don't know why, but it is. Like, it's kind of like, say, women stick together. You don't deprecate someone else, you don't hate on them, you support them. And I think that's
being a victim obviously makes them look weak, and would they rather die than be in that position of, I'm a victim, and even if it means condemning others to the same fate. That's the question, right? We need to ask this.
Pride that would just kind of be shattered.
A lot of pride. Yes, true.
Yeah,
true.
So maybe guys who are watching, let us know. Would you stand up for that person if you were in that situation, if you had been in that situation? And that'd be really cool to hear.
Yes, absolutely. Let us know. Post your own experience or DM us. with hashtag such a bitch. Obviously, don't DM us with the hashtag. That's not necessary. But post your experience on your story or a post and tag us with such a bitch, and then we'll find it.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep it private, you can absolutely DM us. And yes, we would like to know, comment or DM us with the answer. If you are a male listener or watcher of this show, would you, if somebody stood up, somebody identifying as male and said, hey, this happened to me as well, would you stand by him? Or, would you be, how would you react? Or how do you think people would react? I mean, male people would react.
Men, yes.
Male people. Yes, men.
Yeah.
So it's very, very interesting.
Send us something or drop a comment or something. That'd be really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, are we done for today? I think so. I think
this
that was
is
kind of enough
very
to be
heavy.
covered.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all the answers, actually, to know what people think. So in the meantime, the result on the poll was actually 4 people saying no, there should not be any male movements. So we want to know what you think if you're listening back.
Yes.
No yeses. There were no yeses. So yeah, we want to know what the listeners, if you're listening back, let us know in comments.
I'll try and do a poll on Instagram after this or something, and you can drop a thingy on there.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Jesus. All right, so just to get us out of this deep kind of conversation, we are uploading this on YouTube.
Yes, on Monday.
This Monday? Yeah, this Monday. So we're down to every 2 weeks on YouTube because we've caught up. All our episodes are on YouTube. So if you've missed any of them, go to our channel and check it out.
There are 7 more lovely conversations.
There are 7 more. And the last one was about Taylor Swift's butt. So I think you're going to have fun.
Yes.
Anyway, that's all for today. So thank you for joining us on Unboxing Women, and be sure to connect with us on our social media, which you can find in the show notes, or, send us a DM. We already said this. And join the movements. And, not the male movement, this movement, and then make some changes around here. Yeah.
And you can join if you're female or male or X or whatever you are. Please do join.
You just join the Such a Bitch movement, and that's great. Also, don't forget to support your favorite artists throughout, this kind of time period with the Rona and stuff. And you can do that through merch or donation or whatever. There's loads of fun stuff. And so my name is Maika Rose, and I've been chatting with my friend Dana Rexx. Hey. This is a bi-weekly show, and our next episode will be on the 29th of October. Same time, same place. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.